Right now, somewhere in your life, there's a move you already know you should make, and you've been calling it patience when it's actually Machiavellian wealth slipping through your fingers one quiet month at a time. Here's what makes this different from every other finance video you've scrolled past. You're not missing information. You already know you should invest. You already know you should start that thing. You already know who you should be talking to. The problem isn't what you know. The problem is the date on the calendar. And right now that date is working against you faster than you think. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Vertex Vision. Today we're talking about timing, and specifically why the gap between people who build wealth and people who just understand wealth has almost nothing to do with intelligence. It's about the exact moment action replaces intention. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly which moment you're stuck in. Let's start with what's happening in your head, because before any move makes sense, you need to understand why your brain is working against you here. Human beings are emotionally terrible at understanding exponential growth. Intellectually, you get it, you've heard the compound interest examples, but emotionally, almost nobody feels it, because in the early stage, exponential growth looks flat. It feels like nothing. Research from behavioral economists at Duke University looking at long-term saving behavior found something almost funny. People who were shown a realistic projection of their future selves, an aged photo alongside their savings forecast, ended up putting away nearly twice as much afterward. Not because the math changed, because suddenly the future stopped feeling abstract. That's the entire battle. Your brain treats future you like a stranger, and strangers don't get your best decisions. Here's a number that makes this concrete. $10,000 invested at 25, growing at 8% until 65, becomes roughly $217,000. The same $10,000 invested at 35 becomes around $100,000. Same money, same return, just 10 years apart, and the outcome is cut in half. That 10-year gap doesn't feel important right now. It never does. That's the trap. But here's the part nobody talks about. Once you understand the timing problem internally, the next layer is behavioral, and this is where most people quietly sabotage themselves without realizing it. They wait to build a skill until they desperately need the income from it. And when you learn under pressure, you're not learning, you're surviving. You rush the fundamentals, you avoid experimenting, you grab just enough competence to get hired and stop there. Compare that to someone who builds a skill while things are stable, when there's no fire to put out. They can fail without panic. They can go deeper, and over years that skill stops being something they do and becomes something the market associates with them. People start seeking them out before they ever advertise. That shift only happens through repetition over time, and repetition only happens if you start before you're forced to. And this is where it gets uncomfortable, because the same exact pattern shows up with people, not just skills. Most people treat relationships like emergency tools. They reach out only when they need something, an introduction, a favor, an opportunity. And people can feel that instantly. There's a quote, usually used to describe how rulers were perceived by the public, that fits perfectly here. Machiavelli wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but very few have to feel." Most people only see the version of you that shows up asking for something. They don't feel the years you could have spent showing up with nothing to gain, building the kind of trust that can't be faked or rushed. That trust is the actual currency, and it only compounds if it starts long before you need it. Most people stop here, don't, because there's one more layer, and it's the one that decides whether any of this actually sticks. Machiavelli also wrote something that's usually framed around political opportunity, but it applies just as brutally to your bank account. He wrote, "Occasions do not wait, not for better timing, not for more confidence, not for a version of you that finally feels ready. My own read on that line is simple. Every window you're standing in front of right now, the investing window, the skill window, the relationship window, is open wider today than it will be in 5 years. And it's not waiting for your permission to start closing. So here's why this actually matters for you specifically today. 2 traps keep people stuck in what feels like preparation, but is actually delay. The first is telling yourself you'll act once a condition is met. More savings, more confidence, a better idea. But confidence comes from action, not before it. The second is believing future you will somehow find this easier. Future you will just be older, busier, and more attached to staying comfortable. Friction doesn't disappear with time. It grows. The conditions you're waiting for right now are imperfect. They'll be imperfect later too. The only difference later is the years of growth you didn't get to keep. The date that matters most isn't some perfect future date. It's today, and it can't be moved any earlier than that. If this hit a little different than your usual finance content, that's the point. And there's more where this came from. Hit like if this gave you something to think about. Subscribe if you want more of this kind of breakdown, and I'll see you in the next one. This has been Vertex Vision.